Joining us now, correspondent and executive producer of PBS Frontline's film The Jihadist, Martin Smith. Martin, it's really good to have you. You interviewed Al-Jawlani, who's the head of one of the rebel groups that came in and took a lot of credit for ousting Bashar al-Assad, and is somebody that could be one of the next leaders, or if not one of the main leaders, of Syria. Can you tell me who he is and what his motivations are?
He's got a very interesting history. He was put on the terrorist list in 2013. Prior to that, he was a young man who, after the U.S. invasion of Iraq, decided to go up and fight the Americans. And after not so long, he was put into an American prison camp that worked as something like a jihadi university. When he got out, he went to Baghdadi, the head of ISIS, and said, look, I want to fight in Syria. And he got Baghdadi to give him $60,000 to go across the border with 6 men and begin to build an al-Qaeda faction in northern Syria. I met him in 2021. He was already in the process of rebranding himself. He had broken, as Richard said in the previous segment, he had broken with al-Qaeda, he had broken with Baghdadi. In fact, when I was there, he was fighting. He was having skirmishes with their cells that were around Idlib province. So he struck me as serious. I entered a room with a bunch of armed guards wearing ski masks. I sat there for a few minutes, and in he walked, and we talked for many hours. And I told him, look, I want to do an interview, and I want to ask you anything I want, and you can say whatever you want. So that was the beginning. A few days later, we were off in another undisclosed location and did a long interview with him.
You know, you ask him about what he believes in and what sort of rule he would impose. You talk to him about Sharia law. He's done some interviews since, and correspondents have asked him about what the future holds and what sort of society he envisions for Syria. I'm going to play the latest one. This is from Sky News. It's an interview that was done today, actually, with Jawlani about what's going to happen next, what Syria will look like. Let's listen.
Their fears are unnecessary, God willing. The country will be rebuilt. The fear was from the presence of the regime. The country is moving towards development and reconstruction. It's going towards stability. People are exhausted from war. So the country isn't ready for another one, and it's not going to get into another one. The source of our fears was from the Iranian militias, Hezbollah, and the regime which committed the massacres we are seeing today. So their removal is the solution for Syria. The current situation won't allow for a return to panic.
All right, so he was being asked, what's the message to foreign countries who are worried or concerned? Do you find him believable? Is he going to be somebody who's going to work with the West, perhaps try to stabilize the region? Or are we in for another version of Syria from 10 years ago?
Well, I'll turn that question around. Will the West work with him? Right now, he's being attacked by Israel, and it's unclear whether or not he can even assuage the various groups, minorities within Syria, the Alawites, the Kurds, Christians, and others. So he's got his work cut out for him. If I had advice to him, I'd say you should quit now and turn over the control of Syria to your Salvation government, as he calls it.